Good morning. With us now is Jekaterina Macuka from the Ministry of Justice of Latvia. Thank you for joining us for the interview. I hear you were instrumental in putting together the GDPR strategy for Latvia. Can you tell us a little bit about your experiences?
First of all, the part of the GDPR started at 2012, and we, like member states, participated in the European Union working parties to elaborate the GDPR. So, at 2016, GDPR came into force, and then Ministry of Justice is responsible now for the implementing on the national level regulations of the GDPR. What we have done, we have lectures, public awareness programs, information of people that GDPR will come. But at the moment today and yesterday, we see that many people are still afraid, and they say, what we will do, and after this day we cannot post our photos on the Facebook. And so Ministry of Justice as well issued the 12 myths about the GDPR. So what are the first myth? That you need a national law? No, you have GDPR because it's one union document in the all European Union. The second myth, yes, if you put your photo of your friends on your Facebook and it's only for your personal purposes, you can do it, and all other myths, because what we see, like in Ministry of Justice, many people are so afraid of the fines that are set in the GDPR that they do not understand when they have to implement this regulation and when not.
That's a good point that you're addressing the fines. If you look at small and medium businesses or even startups that run their own website and that run Google Analytics, there's a huge amount of work that they need to do, and they need to sign contracts, and it's a huge threshold they have to take. How can they tackle it? I mean, if you're a small one-person business, do you have to go through it? What is it?
First of all, we have to think about what company is doing. If company is a controller, if they gather the data, they have to be responsible of this data. Nevertheless, they have one people or two or three. We are a small country, so many companies who, for example, have some IT services, they are maybe 10 or 12 people, but they have some information system which are very huge. And in this case, they have to apply GDPR because they have as well, they are responsible for the security of the data. GDPR as well prescribes some exemptions when if you are small, if you have non-occasional data processing, then you do not need to fulfill all these requirements. But still, for all businesses, I think at the moment it's a good point to say, okay, I have data previously, I will gather them next years or other. So I have a little bit audit. What do I have and what do I really need? Because when we talked with companies and when they really start to understand what do they have and what do they need, they had a lot of gaps like, why do we need this data? Okay, we gather it for the 10 years, but do you need them? No. So, like we say to the companies, less data you have, less responsibility you have. If you can anonymize data, so do it. In most cases, GDPR rules, more stricter, will enforced for the big companies. Yeah, like Google and Facebook. When GDPR was discussed in the European Union, the working parties, the most sounded words was Facebook and Google. Because they influence our life, all the services. And in many cases, when a small company buys a service from the other big company is as well responsible for this service that they are selling them. And I think this could be this common approach when me, like small controller, I understand what do I need, but if I use some big company services like IT services, as well this big company, like my co-controller, joint controller, as well takes responsibility.
So if I get you correctly, that means that, just take an example for a small company, you have maybe a photographer and they're not using Instagram, but they're having their own website and they put up their pictures for people to download. They run analytics because they want to know who approaches the website, and they have a newsletter. Do they really need to enter a big agreement with Google Analytics just to get the data who comes to the website if they don't do anything else with it?
When they use Google Analytics, they already have agreement with the Google Analytics. So in this case, they will have agreement, but they has agreement at the moment. The data they ask from the Google Analytics, most cases as well, the service which Google Analytics gives to this small company, and the small company just gets output statistic, and that's all. But as well, I think this is the responsibility for the big company who provides service to say that, okay, I have this privacy by design.
So actually those small companies can breathe a little bit easier.
It depends yes, but of course it depends, because what maybe is a very small company for the Germany, for us it's already medium company.
Right. So GDPR now is in effect. What were your experiences in actually establishing it and implementing it across the ministries in Latvia?
We do it step by step, but of course it's very slowly, because it's like when you're a student, you know that you will have your exams, but you start studying like the last night. In most countries of the European Union, first for 2 years you discussed, you said, okay, we can do this, and now exam is coming, and it's last night, and in the last night we start to prepare. Of course, for the many institutions, governmental institutions in Latvia who hold a big informational system, they already have data protection officers. They already implemented a lot of the things from the technical point of view and as well information point of view. But there is still some gaps within the institution works, and as well understanding what they need from the data, from the person, and how they storage it. I think that already before this, we worked with the civil servants. You cannot look in the information system because you want to know something about your fiancé. You have to use it for the certain purposes. And for the GDPR, I think, and also for the governmental institutions, it's education. So people have to understand that this is a value data and that you have to use it only to these purposes.
Okay. Also, governments are changing towards e-government, so offering more and more services digital, just to keep up with the pace of the industry. What impact does GDPR have on the privacy by design on solutions for e-government?
They have to start to think about the data protection on the spot when they start to build service. Because what we have seen previously, like some governmental institution, they have a system and then they come to the Ministry of Justice and say, we have built this system. And then Ministry of Justice said, okay, but have you thought about the data protection? No, but okay, please think about it. No, we already built the system. So, and in this case, what already 2 years ago, we start to learn and educate ministries, when you start to do some information system, please think about the data protection first. Think how you will implement this privacy by design, because in many cases, it's for your own good when you implement it. And as well, I know that in European Union, many says that data protection is a threat for the e-government, for the internet market, and etc. It's not a threat. It's just that you will be frank and transparent, and please be frank and transparent for the people and describe them what you are doing with my data and why. And if people understand that, and if I get a good service from the government or from private company, there will not be problems with the GDPR.
One last question. So which areas of e-government solutions would be most interesting to cyber criminals from your point of view?
Honestly, I cannot answer this question because I'm not the specialist in this area. So, but from the security point of view, each service which is provided by the government have to be secure, because in most cases government process a lot of the data of people, and people have to trust government.
Thank you very much. And one very last question for people who have not been to Riga in Latvia. What's your recommendation? What should they come for and what should they see here?
First of all, Riga. We have a very beautiful old city with a lot of churches and very beautiful churches. And as well, we have a sea. It's called sea, but we have incredible beaches with incredible sand. It's like in Maldives. So please come and visit our country.
Thank you, Jekaterina. Thanks for joining us and have a great conference.
Thank you.